Hello everybody, welcome to Midwest Imagery. Today I'm going to talk about a type of photography that allows us to get all of the shadow details and the mid-tone details and the highlight details all in the same picture. And this type of photography is called high dynamic range. And what you do with the high dynamic range is you make one image of the scene at indicated, and you make one image underexposed by one stop and one image overexposed by one stop. And then you'll have to use a software to sandwich them all together. And this is just another tool that we can use to make our images even better than they are now. Typically I'll use 3 frames. I found that that works the best for me just because our cameras are pretty sophisticated now. Our digital cameras are highly sophisticated picture making machines, and what we do with those machines is tell them how we want our pictures to look. The camera doesn't know anything about how you want to make your pictures, so it's up to us to show our cameras how we want to do that. And with that goal in mind, the sky's the limit for whatever we want to make a picture of, however we want to make that picture. What I'm showing you here is all of the different types of photography that you're going to be able to do with your cameras using some of these methods. I have a few examples that I'm going to show you here, so I have to take a few minutes to get set up, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So we're talking about high dynamic range photography today. High dynamic range is shortened to the abbreviation HDR. HDR is a technique where you make 3 or more different exposures of the same subject to capture the full range of shadow and highlight detail that would usually be beyond the latitude of your camera's sensor. The exposures are made in one-stop increments, using the shutter speed, leaving the aperture and the ISO alone. Oftentimes you'll want your camera on a tripod so that the images stay registered within reason of each other. Although I have made pictures with my auto bracketing turned on, and you can look in your manual to see if you have auto bracketing capabilities on your camera, and if you do, just set it to 3 frames and have it be indicated +1 -1, and then don't forget to turn that back off when you're finished. With HDR, you'll need some software like Photomatix Pro or Photoshop then to blend the images, and I use Photomatix Pro because it's plug and play. There are a lot of presets that you can find a really good starting point from, and then once I get it to the where I like the direction that the shot's going, then I'll just import it into Photoshop and polish it up a little bit. Here's an example. Here I used 5 frames actually, and you can see that at 2 stops underexposed, I'm getting the highlight details in this image here. And 1 stop starts opening up the shadows better. This is my indicated exposure. 1 over starts opening up shadows even more. We're seeing the bottoms of the carriages, and 2 under really opens all the shadows up. When I bring these files into Photomatix Pro, it shows up like this. This is the result of merging the previous 5 exposures into Photomatix Pro with a little additional polishing in Photoshop. So there's something about this shot that bothers me too, and you will probably find that there's a little something about every picture that I make that bugs me. But in this particular one, I find that I don't like how wide open and bright this car is here. It's a little too punchy for my taste, and I could tone it down if I wanted to, But again, I'm leaving this sort of thing in for you to see how I go about looking at pictures that I like. Most people look at this, they don't even notice this. They just look at this and think it's a nice picture. I don't like the way that this looks right here. It was nighttime, colored lights on this dwarf Korean lilac, 2 stops under, gives me light detail. 1 stop under starts opening up the shadows. Indicated by itself looks pretty good. 1 over, not too bad. 2 over gives us more detail everywhere around here. So when I take these images and sandwich them together in Photomatix Pro, this is what I end up with. And now we have a picture that would be impossible to make just with one of these other images, as you can see here. All the detail in this picture is in the other images, and when I sandwich them together and polish it a little bit and post-processing, this is what I end up with. I wanted to make a really crunchy shot, which means I'm just going to overcook the processing in this high dynamic range shot. So here's the 1 under exposing for these lights right here. Indicated opens the shadows up. 1 over does it even more. When we have much more detail that we're able to see with 1 over. Notice the lights on this shrub are gone. They're blown out. But notice also that I forgot to turn the lights on here. Not to worry, because I have Photoshop. When I sandwich them all together, here's what I do, and I really overcook this one because I've got big halos all the way around all of the scene in here. Got a lot of crunchy detail on the snow. I've got great lights here, and notice that I turned on the lights here in post-processing. We can even see through the windows. There's photographs on the wall in here, light, there's detail everywhere. And this is a picture that I could not have made without using high dynamic range. The cloud gate in Chicago, 9 o'clock in the evening. Here I am getting this shot for the sky. Indicated opens up the shadows. +1 gives us a little bit more opening up. Put them all together, and here's what I come up with. I've left a couple of the solid looking people here because these are fairly long exposures, and then let the rest of the people ghost around so that we have both solidity and movement in this shot. Here's another example at the cloud gate. I just turned my camera vertical and made 1 stop underexposed so I can get good sky detail. There's a little part of the moon right here. And then indicated opens everything up a bit more. 1 stop over gives us a shadow opening up underneath the sculpture and opens up the shadows on the buildings. Now, when I put these all together, and I get this shot here, I left everybody ghosting in this picture here. So again, I have the effect of solidness as well as movement in this picture. These are 3 exposures. I chose the sky from the 1 stop under exposure so I could still get the moon in here and just let this sky show through. With this short example of high dynamic range photography, I'm going to put this stuff away, and I'll be back to wrap it up in just a second. Okay, that was a brief example of yet another type of photography that you can do with your digital camera. I don't care if it's a mirrorless or if it's a DSLR. Or high dynamic range photography, you have to have a software to sandwich them all together with Photomatix Pro. Photomatix Pro has several presets that I can always find one that gets me close to where I want it to go, and then I just save that file and import it into Photoshop and do a tiny little bit more. You can see the attractions and benefits of being able to sandwich these shots together to get us a broader range of shadow and highlight detail in our pictures. High dynamic range is just one more aspect of photography, and by now you're starting to see that photography is wherever you want to point your camera. You can make a picture of anything using these methods and tips and tricks that I'm showing you here. Everywhere you look, there's a picture to be made, and it isn't anything that you're not going to be able to do. You're also noticing that all of these pictures that I'm making are made in manual mode using the 3 essential elements that we've discussed earlier, and if you need to, you can go back and look at some of those episodes. But basically, our 3 elements, understanding those 3 elements will make any kind of photography you want to do possible. And I don't care if it's product or pets or people or places or things. Any kind of photography you want to do is based on those 3 simple essential elements for photography. Now, before I go, I'm also wanting to thank you for watching me. All this photography is possible because we're starting to understand how these 3 essential elements work together. And before I go, I want to, as always, thank you for watching me and encourage you to ask me any questions that you have, because you've got the resource here that will help. So before I end it here, I want to thank you for watching me and encourage you to go out and practice making pictures of anything, just so that you get used to setting the controls and then start thinking about the composition of your pictures. What might be helpful is look at a picture that you like. It can be a picture, whatever. If you like it, first of all, define what it is that you like about it. Do you like the composition? Do you like the exposure? Do you like the angle of the picture? Do you like that it's vertical or horizontal? And then try and duplicate that shot. And this is how we start to improve. I want to thank you for watching. Keep up the good work. If you have any questions, just let me know, and I'll see you soon.